The Menendez Brothers, Blood on Beverly Hills. Episode 1. The Perfect Family. Beverly Hills, 1989. Behind the gates of a lavish mansion lived the Menendez family, Jose, Kitty, and their two sons, Lyle and Erik. To outsiders, they were the picture of American success, wealth, privilege, and the good life. But on the night of August 20th, 1989, everything shattered. The parents were brutally gunned down in their own living room. Their killers? The last people anyone would suspect, their own sons. This is the story of betrayal, abuse, and a courtroom drama that divided America. The Menendez family. Jose Menendez was a Cuban immigrant who came to America chasing the dream. He was driven, ambitious, and relentless. From humble beginnings, he rose to become a wealthy Hollywood executive, working at RCA Records and later the film company Carolco Pictures. His wife, Kitty, had once dreamed of being an actress. Instead, she dedicated herself to the family, though friends say she was often depressed and overwhelmed by Jose's dominating personality. Together, they raised two sons, Lyle, the older, confident and brash, and Erik, shy, athletic, and sensitive. To outsiders, they were privileged boys living in luxury. But behind closed doors, things were different. Episode 2, A Night of Blood. The Murders. On the night of August 20th, Jose and Kitty Menendez sat in their Beverly Hills mansion watching television. At around 11:47 p.m., Lyle and Erik entered the room carrying shotguns. Jose was hit in the back of the head, killed instantly. Kitty tried to run, but she was shot repeatedly, at least 10 times, leaving her unrecognizable. The scene was savage, brutal, and bloody. Moments later, the brothers drove off. But instead of fleeing, they tried to stage a cover. Lyle dialed 911 in hysterics, screaming, "Somebody killed my parents." Police arrived to find two grieving sons. At first, suspicion didn't fall on them. Investigators believed it could have been a mob hit, given Jose's business connections. Episode 3, The Spending Spree. Life after murder. But soon doubts arose. Just days after the murders, Lyle and Erik began spending extravagantly. They bought Rolex watches, Porsche cars, designer clothes, and even a restaurant. In the months following, they burned through over $700,000 of their inheritance. While the community mourned, the Menendez brothers lived like kings. Police began to look closer. Something didn't add up. Episode 4, The Confession. Erik's guilt. Erik Menendez, the younger brother, was struggling. Racked with guilt, he confessed the murders to a psychologist, Dr. Jerome Oziel. But Oziel didn't keep the secret. His mistress, fearful for her life, told police what Erik had confessed. The tapes of those therapy sessions became crucial evidence. In March 1990, both brothers were arrested. The shocking truth hit the headlines. The Menendez brothers had murdered their parents. Episode 5, The Trial of the Century. Courtroom Battles. The trial began in 1993 and quickly became a media circus. Televised across America, millions tuned in daily. The defense revealed a bombshell. Lyle and Erik claimed they had suffered years of sexual and emotional abuse at the hands of their father, Jose. They said their mother, Kitty, had been complicit and violent as well. According to the brothers, the murders weren't about money. They were about survival. They claimed they believed their parents were going to kill them to keep the abuse a secret. The prosecution, however, painted a different picture. To them, the brothers were spoiled, greedy rich kids who murdered their parents for a multi-million-dollar inheritance. The lavish spending spree was their proof. The jury was torn. The first trials ended in hung juries, unable to decide. Episode 6, Conviction. The retrial. In 1995, prosecutors retried the brothers. This time, the judge did not allow cameras in the courtroom and limited the testimony about abuse. In 1996, both Lyle and Erik Menendez were convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. They were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Episode 7: Life Behind Bars. Prison Lives. Since their incarceration, the brothers have lived separate lives in the prison system. Lyle married twice while in prison, maintaining relationships with women who reached out after his conviction. Erik became active in prison programs, teaching and mentoring other inmates. In 2018, after nearly 22 years apart, the brothers were reunited in the same facility in San Diego. For the first time in decades, they could see each other again. Episode 8: Legacy and Controversy. Why does this case still haunt us? The Menendez brothers' case remains one of America's most debated true crime stories. Were they cold-blooded killers motivated by greed? Or were they deeply traumatized victims lashing out after years of abuse? The abuse allegations are still hotly debated. Some dismiss them as fabrications. Others argue that the testimony of the brothers, combined with accounts from relatives and friends, paints a picture of a deeply dysfunctional family. The case also sparked broader conversations about family violence, the privilege of wealth, and the justice system itself. Reflection. 2 boys from Beverly Hills. 2 parents murdered in cold blood. A trial that divided America. The Menendez brothers will spend the rest of their lives behind bars. But their case still lingers in the public imagination, not just because of the crime, but because of the haunting question it leaves behind. Were Lyle and Erik Menendez victims or villains? This was the Menendez brothers, Blood on Beverly Hills. This is Blissful Little Life YouTube channel, and subscribe for more voice-only crime stories every week. Until next time, stay aware, stay informed, and never stop asking questions.